It's the 11th of March 2026. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you tonight's bulletin for the Newsfirst team, I am Jaima Ratnayaka.
And I'm Momitra Bekun. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Ask for Eslawn Polycon by name.
Direct links between former intelligence chief Saleh and Easter attacks revealed in court. Electricity trade unions call off industrial action. Iran-Israel war enters day 11. Over 20,000 buildings destroyed in Iran. Global fuel prices continue gradual decline. Economic Monitoring Committee convenes on market stabilization. Lanka e-news editor Sandruwan Senadira arrested at the Katunayaka airport.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Ask for Eslawn Polycon by name.
Tonight's top story comes from the global arena. The international oil market is experiencing severe volatility and upward pressure on prices, driven primarily by the escalating Middle East conflict, especially involving Iran, the US and Israel. How is this affecting Sri Lanka? Here's a look.
Well, yes. Global crude oil prices, which surged sharply earlier, have continued to decline as of this morning. The Brent crude oil price, which had risen to $119 per barrel, was trading at around $83 by midday today. Now, we also examined Sri Lanka's international LP gas supply situation. Litrogas stated that 38,000 metric tons of LPG shipped from the United States to Male have now arrived and will reach the shores of Sri Lanka within the coming days. Additionally, a second shipment of 33,000 metric tons is scheduled to reach Male on the 17th of March, also originating from the United States. Sri Lanka is expected to receive further LPG shipments in April as part of the ongoing supply schedule.
Oil prices rebounded as markets doubted whether the International Energy Agency's plan for a record release of oil reserves could offset potential supply shocks from the US-Israeli conflict with Iran. Earlier today, Brent futures traded up $3.31 or 3.8% at $91.11 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate or WTI traded $3.13 higher, also 3.8% at $86.58 a barrel. Both contracts extended losses in early Asian trade after plunging more than 11% on Tuesday, despite U.S. crude prices leaping 5% at the market's opening. Meanwhile, G7 nations have said they would support the collective release of oil from their reserves to tackle soaring prices since the start of the U.S.-Israel war with Iran. The group of countries has been meeting with the International Energy Agency, which has asked member states to make their biggest ever intervention in the oil market. The conflict has caused oil exports through the Strait of Hormuz, which carries a fifth of global oil supplies, to virtually stop the production in the region to slump. Prices have jumped since the conflict started, but stabilized following reports that oil could be released, though experts say the move would only be a short-term solution. In this context, it is a matter of international attention whether India, which is facing an energy crisis, will continue to have the opportunity to purchase oil from Russia.
Because our allies in India, as you know, Lalit, have been good actors and have previously stopped buying sanctioned Russian oil. So as we work to appease this temporary gap of oil supply around the world because of the Iranians, we have temporarily permitted them to accept that Russian oil. And this Russian oil was already at sea. It was already out on the water. So this short-term measure, we don't believe it will provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government.
Announcing the largest ever release of 400-meter barrels of oil, The International Energy Agency said its 32 member countries voted unanimously in favor of the move. That volume is more than double the 182 million barrels released in 2022 following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The IEA says the emergency stocks will be made available to the market over a time frame that is appropriate to the national circumstances of each member country. It is the sixth time the IEA has approved a coordinated release of oil stocks, having previously done so in 1991, 2005, 2011 and twice in 2022. It adds that its members hold emergency stockpiles of more than 1.2 billion barrels, with a further 600 million barrels of industry stocks held under government obligation. Meanwhile, the United States has announced the destruction of 16 vessels used for mine laying in the Hormuz Strait. In response, Iran has stressed that it is not currently placing mines in the strait and warned that it retains other methods to target vessels if necessary. The Strait of Hormuz, which handles roughly 20% of the world's oil supply, has seen disruptions due to the conflict, contributing to a sharp rise in global oil prices. Daily shipping through the strait has been affected in recent days, but today's reports indicate that conditions are showing signs of improvement.
The Economic Monitoring Committee established on the proposal by the President Anurakkumara Dissanayake to safeguard Sri Lanka's economic stability and protect the welfare of citizens in the face of external pressures met yesterday afternoon at the Presidential Secretariat. The committee is chaired by Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning and Minister of Labour Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando, while Senior Additional Secretary to the President Russell Aponsu serves as a Secretary and Convener of the committee. The members of the committee include Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Secretary to the Treasury and Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development Dr. Harshana Surya Perma, Senior Presidential Advisor on the Digital Economy Hans Vijay Surya, Senior Economic Advisor to the President Dumindu Hulangamua, and Secretary to the Ministry of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development Tilaka Jayasundara. In addition, Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation DGAS D.S. Rajakaruna, Chairman of Litrogas Lanka Limited Channa Gunawardana, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority Dr. Parakrama Dissanayake, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board Mangala Vijayasinghe, Special Presidential Representative on Foreign Investment Hanif Yusuf, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Tea Board R.K. Obesekara, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority Buddhika Hewawasam, and the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Employment and Tourism are the other members. Amid the prevailing conflict situation in the Middle East, which has created an unstable global economic environment, attention was focused on the potential adverse impacts on Sri Lanka's economy. Discussions also centered on the urgent measures required to stabilize the market and safeguard the interests of citizens in response to these challenges.
A discussion on the economic impact of the ongoing Middle East crisis was held yesterday at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka in Colombo.
A scholarly discussion on the economic impact of the ongoing Middle East crisis was held yesterday at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka. The session themed Risk Amid the Middle East Crisis, Economic Shockwaves and Sri Lanka's Strategic Response, focused on the potential effects of global geopolitical tensions on Sri Lanka's trade, fuel imports, inflation, remittances, exchange rate stability and overall financial management.
I actually come from a company whose main business is the export of tea. Iraq is the #1 place. Right? Some of the tea that goes to Iraq may be smuggled into Iran because Iran is a sanctioned country, although food is not sanctioned. Then you have UAE. It's not that the UAE is consuming the tea. It goes to Dubai and then transships to Iran. So basically Iran and Iraq are extremely important countries for Ceylon tea. Right? And I got my people to check today what happened in the tea auctions. And the prices did come down. They have a strong demand. So what is needed to the end of Ramadan and that Eid period where they have like celebration for 5 or 10 days probably is on the water and probably go. But future these things, you are going to get impacted because they have large chemical processing plants and they have cheap energy. There's huge chemical industries in the Persian Gulf. So the fertilizer is, for example, for India, because this is the season they need before the monsoons come in June and July, there is a huge crisis in fertilizer. It doesn't look like this conflict is going to end very soon. It's not like the Iranians are going to just give up and go away. As those commentators said, this is a resilient regime. The market prices is the biggest incentive to stop it. And what they say is when you stop the gas plants and when you stop the oil wells, you can't switch them back on the next day. There is a significant period before it comes back into production. Right? Most of these countries have declared force majeure. So the legal impediments, everything, even if it stops tomorrow, the oil supply cannot come on stream immediately. There will be 1 or 2 lags. Of course, the major countries have strategic petroleum reserves, etc. So that's the context I set.
Experts called for strategic policy measures to strengthen the country's economic resilience in the face of rising global uncertainty. The expert discussion saw participation from professionals across the financial and business sectors as well as university students.
The trade union action by electricity sector employees has been suspended. This decision follows the discussions held this afternoon between the trade unions and the relevant authorities.
Electricity sector employees launched trade union action last Monday based on several demands, including a 40% salary increase, citing the loss of professional ownership following the restructuring of the Ceylon Electricity Board. Following discussions held today, the Electrical Engineers Association stated that they are taking steps to restore power disruptions reported from several parts of the country as quickly as possible.
From 3 p.m. on the 9th until now, a strike has been in effect by electricity workers. Today we held discussions at the Ministry of Labour regarding the strike. During the discussions, several misunderstandings and issues that had arisen were clarified, and the trade unions agreed to end the strike from 5 p.m. today. Under Section 12(1) of the Labour Disputes Act, both parties agreed to sign a memorandum of understanding and a settlement agreement with the Labour Department mediating future issues. Therefore, the unions have agreed to end the strike today.
The Minister of Power also commented on the matter.
Some unions in a state of great agitation made exaggerated demands, like a vendor in Venice asking for the best cuts of meat, and resorted to strike action. It was a very unfortunate situation. In some areas, power cuts caused difficulties for consumers and the public. That is regrettable. However, we are pleased that the unions have understood the reality and have decided to return to work and end the strike.
News First with the people.
Ivan Satutin inne wiring karala. Wiring kirwe Eslon Polycon yodala.
For your safety and the protection of the wires used in networking, electricity and AC wiring, Eslon Polycon cable trunking, suitable for white walls, prevent spread of fire, double lock technology. Ask for Eslon Polycon by name.
Find everything you need for your home, office, business and factory. Visit b2b.lk Marketplace.
On day 11 of the Iran-Israel conflict, turmoil, confusion and uncertainty continue to grow with the ripple effects from the war reaching all corners of the earth. The International Energy Agency has just announced it will make a record 400 million barrels of oil from their emergency reserves available to the market to address disruptions in oil markets stemming from the war. Let's take a look at the latest situation in this ongoing conflict.
3 cargo vessels have been hit by unknown projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz, maritime authorities confirmed, as pressure intensifies on one of the world's most important shipping lanes. Earlier today, Thailand's Royal Thai Navy said it was providing emergency assistance after a Thai-flagged vessel was hit 11 nautical miles north of Oman, causing a fire on board. In a statement, the Royal Thai Navy said the ship's 23 crew members were being rescued. Meanwhile, a Japan-flagged container ship sustained minor damage after it was struck 46 kilometers off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. The UK Maritime Trade Operations said a third cargo vessel was hit 93 kilometers northwest of Dubai. The cause of the attacks are being investigated. The UK MTO has urged all ships passing through the area to transit with caution. Earlier, the US said it had eliminated 16 ships capable of laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian Red Crescent has officially reported that nearly 20,000 civilian buildings across Iran have been destroyed or damaged amid ongoing military strikes by the United States and Israel, including thousands of residential units and dozens of healthcare facilities. Iranian authorities say the strikes have also impacted schools and hospitals, disrupting essential services for civilians after more than 11 days of conflict. Meanwhile, Iran's ambassador to the United Nations has stated that nearly 10,000 civilian sites, including homes, businesses, medical centers, schools, and several Red Crescent facilities have been destroyed or damaged in the strikes that began on the 28th of February. Speaking to the state news agency IRNA, Iran's education minister also confirmed that 206 students and teachers have been killed and 161 others injured in joint US-Israel attacks since late last month. Meanwhile, reports have emerged claiming that Iran's newly appointed Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei was injured in recent attacks. However, Yusuf Pezeshkian, son of Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, has stated that the new Supreme Leader is safe, claiming the rumors as false. Iran's newly appointed Supreme Leader has not appeared publicly for any major addresses so far. Egypt has offered to act as a mediator to help resolve the ongoing crisis. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelatif made the proposal during a telephone conversation with Iran's Foreign Minister Said Abbas Araghchi. Araghchi emphasized that Iran is committed to ensuring regional stability and security in the Middle East without external interference. Meanwhile, at least 19 people have died today in Lebanon following drone and air strikes launched by Iran. Since the start of the conflict, the death toll in Lebanon has risen to 570. Additionally, around 780,000 people have been displaced due to the ongoing attacks.
Fishing in troubled waters.
Convener of the Samagi Joint Trade Union Alliance, Sananda Palitha, expressed pride in opposition leader Sajid Premadasa.
බොරදී මාළු බාන්නේ මං හොඳ පැහැදිලි තිය මාළු බාන්නේ බොර කරන්න එන්නේ ලූලා නැතිවලට කණයා පඬිතයා ලූලා ඇවිල්ලා කණයෝ ගැන තමයි කියන්නේ දැන් මේ ඔබතුමා විතරනේ ඔබ කෑ ගහන්නේ සමගියේ විදියට සජිත් මේතුමා ගන්නෙත් මේ ආණ්ඩුවට සහයෝගය දෙන්නවට ආණ්ඩුවත් ඔහුට ප්‍රශංසා කරනවානේ කිසිම ආදරයක් නැහැ ඔබේ මේක දෙයක් තියෙනවා.
We are proud to hear about opposition leader Sajid. He ventured into troubled waters to make a stand, yet some claim he is not strong. There is no opposition leader more populist than Sajid, which may be hard for some to accept. But we have only one leader to build this country, and that leader must not be undermined.
දැන් අද හෙට මේ පක්ෂ දෙක එකට එක්කහ වුණාට පස්සේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා නායකත්වයට කියලා සමහරක් අය තැන් තැන් වල පොඩ්ඩක් කෙඳිරි ගන්නවා කියලා එහෙම ආරංචියක් තියෙනවා.
We thought Ranil is a mature leader. We were also mistaken. We had previously said that Ranil cannot win, but now our leader has also faced defeat, and much has been lost. We were able to form a party by gathering what remained, much like the government did. But we remain Ranil's party because he is a mature leader and recognized internationally. Seeking his guidance is not wrong. It helps us address both challenges and successes while building the country.
The WFP and KOICA have partnered with Sri Lanka to boost nutrition for nearly 1 million children and mothers.
The United Nations World Food Programme has launched a 5-year Sow and Grow project valued at $10 million funded by the Korea International Cooperation Agency and implemented in partnership with the government of Sri Lanka. The initiative aims to strengthen the country's 3-posha program by boosting the production of high-quality local maize and ensuring a steady supply of 3-posha for children under 5, as well as pregnant and breastfeeding women. Under the new project, WFP will support efforts to increase local maize production, improving grain quality and fortify supply chains to ensure a sustainable national supply. The project will assist 7,500 farmers across the Anuradhapura, Munaragala and Badulla districts. It focuses on enhancing productivity, promoting climate-smart agricultural practices and reducing post-harvest losses. Sow and Grow is expected to improve nutrition for more than 650,000 children under 5 and over 330,000 pregnant and breastfeeding women throughout Sri Lanka.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya held a series of bilateral meetings with senior officials of the Asian Development Bank yesterday at the ADB headquarters in Manila during her official visit to the Philippines. The discussions focused on strengthening development cooperation between Sri Lanka and the ADB, reviewing ongoing projects and exploring opportunities for future collaboration.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya commenced her bilateral engagements by meeting President of ADB, Masato Kanda. Prime Minister Amarasuriya expressed Sri Lanka's appreciation for the continued support extended by ADB, including assistance provided in response to the impacts of Cyclone Ditwa and the bank's broader development cooperation with the country. She highlighted the importance of ADB-supported initiatives across key sectors that contribute to Sri Lanka's ongoing recovery and long-term development. According to Prime Minister's Media Division, the Prime Minister also held discussions with Vice President of South, Central and West Asia of ADB, Yingming Yang, where both sides reviewed the progress of ongoing ADB-funded projects in Sri Lanka and explored opportunities to further strengthen collaboration in areas such as health, education and social development. In a separate meeting with Christine Engstrom, Director General of Sectors Department 3, discussions focused on sector-specific initiatives supported by ADB, particularly in human and social development, public sector management and financial sector reforms. The Prime Minister noted that future investments in the education sector should place greater emphasis on human resource development and improving the quality of teaching and learning, alongside infrastructure development. Following these meetings, the Prime Minister participated in a policy dialogue on education and skills development, which brought together representatives from ASEAN institutions, Philippine education authorities, and ADB officials. The dialogue focused on regional education systems, policy collaboration, and initiatives aimed at strengthening education and skills development frameworks.
A Sri Lankan lawyers delegation visiting India on the invitation of the Bar Association of India took part in a landmark professional engagement at the Supreme Court of India. Rajiv Amarasuriya, the president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, noted that Sri Lanka and India are jurisdictions closely linked through geographical proximity, shared culture and a long tradition of legal and constitutional development.
Jurisdictions that are closely connected not only by geography but by the centuries of shared history, common culture and a long tradition of legal and constitutional development. In my understanding, this is the first occasion on which members of the Sri Lankan Bar have come before the Supreme Court of India in delegation as part of a structured exchange of thought, ideas and professional engagement. That alone makes this gathering a significant milestone in the continued relationship between our two bars and our two legal systems. This moment reaffirms the deep and enduring friendship between our two legal systems that have evolved in parallel, influenced by common legal traditions, similar constitutional framework, and a shared commitment to the rule of law, judicial independence, and democratic governance. But the connections between our two countries go far deeper than the legal and constitutional spheres. They are rooted in civilizational relationship that spans over 2,000 years.
The inaugural Colombo International Children's Book Fair and Literary Festival 2026 is set to take place from the 24th of March to the 29th.
A press conference to announce the inaugural Colombo International Children's Book Fair and Literary Festival 2026 was held in Colombo. The Colombo International Children's Book Fair and Literary Festival will take place from the 24th of March to the 29th of March 2026.
This dream has lived in our hearts for many years. Despite challenges and obstacles, we persevered, and today it has become a reality thanks to the unwavering support of the directors of the Sri Lanka Book Publishers Association. This approach, rooted in community and consistency, has the power to spark a nationwide love for readers. Just as the Colombo International Book Fair has become a beacon of literature, we believe the Children's Book Fair will ignite a new generation's passion for books.
Organized by the Sri Lanka Book Publishers Association alongside the annual Colombo International Book Fair, this event aims to inspire and strengthen the nation's reading culture. Colombo Fashion Week in its 23rd year is planned for the 1st to the 4th of April at the City of Dreams, Sri Lanka in Colombo. The announcement was made at a press briefing held in Colombo today. Colombo Fashion Week, the South Asian fashion platform in its 23rd year, is planned from the 1st of April to the 4th of April at the City of Dreams, Sri Lanka in Colombo. Founder for the Colombo Fashion Week, Ajay Veer Singh, outlined key factors of the event.
Key things about this edition of Colombo Fashion Week is the fact that we have collaborated with BRICS International Fashion Federation, where Colombo Fashion Week is a founding member of that, and we are hosting a South Asia edition of BRICS here at City of Dreams, and there's also a collaboration with White Milano, which we started last year. So we're very excited with the program that we have brought to City of Dreams, and their designers from other BRIC countries who will be participating. So we look forward to an interesting season in 3 weeks from now.
Channel head for Yes 101, Manilal Fernando, also expressed his views to the media.
As the Maharaja Media Network, we are proud to partner with the Colombo Fashion Week 2026 Summer Edition. From the runway to the real life, we are bringing you exclusive access, designer spotlights, backstage buzz, and all the Fashion Week moments that matter. Keep it locked in with Yes 101 and Newsfirst, and follow us for updates as the city turns into a style capital.
This year's edition features an exceptional lineup of over 30 plus designers. International designers from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, South Africa, China and Russia will take to the runway alongside celebrated Sri Lankan designers, making Colombo Fashion Week Summer 2026 one of the most globally represented editions in the platform's history. Yes 101 and Newsfirst are official media partners for the event.
The National Institute for Health and Care Research launched DigiPaths project in Sri Lanka today to improve care for patients with multiple long-term conditions.
The UK's National Institute for Health and Care Research has funded a £3.8 million project, DigiPaths, aimed at improving care for patients in Sri Lanka living with multiple long-term conditions, including diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, and mental health issues.
I am here representing the research called DigiPath. Basically, there is a disease research that's built digital solution to multiple long-term conditions. In that research, we involve patients and public as active participants. In that scenario, we would like to establish a CEI forum. And our team, research team, we include it's funded by NHS and various universities in UK and 4 or 5 universities in Sri Lanka. We get together and decide Eastern University is the best place for a CEI forum. Why is that? Because here the multiple socio-cultural background people are living together in a harmonious way. So that's why we selected this is the best place to start a center of excellence. Right. So now we come to the point why this center of excellence is important for us. We have a 6 hierarchical orders and boundaries that patients, doctors, service delivery, service receiving. So we have put some boundaries and operating plan. So this center will produce a paradigm shift.
The project will create a digital integrated care pathway within electronic health records, connecting doctors, patients and policymakers to streamline treatment and improve patient experience. It will be piloted in 50 primary care centres across the country.
අයිවන් සතුටින් ඉන්නේ වයරින් කරලා වයරින් කිරුවේ ඉස්ලොන් පොලිකොන් යොදලා.
For your safety and the protection of the wires used in networking, electricity and AC wiring, S-Lawn Polygon cable trunking, suitable for white walls, prevent spread of fire, double lock technology. Ask for S-Lawn Polygon by name.
Your afternoon starts with ABC on TV1. World news, sports news, documentary. Stay informed, stay ahead. every weekday 12:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. ABC Afternoon, only on TV1.
Welcome back to the news. On to more news from here at home. Colombo Fort Magistrate Isulu Nethikumara stated today that former Director of the State Intelligence Service, retired Major General Suresh Saleh, who is currently detained under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, is facing allegations that are directly connected to the Easter Sunday attacks.
Now, the magistrate noted that these matters do not relate to dereliction of duty or any other unrelated issues, but concern direct links to the Easter Sunday bombings. The Criminal Investigation Department submitted its progress report on the ongoing investigation into these attacks before the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court today.
The suicide bombings carried out on the 21st of April 2019 claimed the lives of over 260 people. In the aftermath of the attacks, a parliamentary select committee and later a presidential commission were appointed to uncover the truth behind the incident. The commission observed that there had been serious shortcomings within the security apparatus, including negligence and poor coordination among state officials. Several individuals connected to the attack were subsequently arrested and charged, while legal proceedings against others suspected of assisting the attackers continue. In relation to the Easter Sunday investigation, former State Intelligence Service Chief, retired Major General Suresh Saleh, who was recently arrested, is currently held under a 90-day detention order. The Criminal Investigation Department informed the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court that retired Major General Saleh has been named as the third suspect in connection with the Easter Sunday attacks. The case was recalled today to review the progress of the ongoing investigation. The Criminal Investigation Department today reported to court several findings revealing alleged links between former State Intelligence Chief Suresh Saleh and the Easter Sunday terror attacks. According to the CID, investigations have uncovered that Saleh was directly involved in gathering information for Saharan's group ahead of the attack on the Katuapitia church, using one of his informants for this purpose. Quote,
"This intelligence unit also maintained another informant in the Panadura area. He had provided advance warning that the attack would take place. On the day of the attack, when questioned, he told officers that an army officer with at least 20 years of experience was behind the attack. Senior army officers questioned him extensively over the phone, and on the 26th April 2019, this informant was taken into custody by the military intelligence and later handed over to the Terrorism Investigation Division. Afterward, his household needs were handled by military intelligence, and arrangements were made to provide a job for his son in the Army Intelligence IT Division."
End quote. End quote. The Fort Magistrate noted that while intelligence officers are legally permitted to maintain informants, the concern arises from allegations that such support continued even after the informant became a suspect. When questioned, CID officers confirmed that the suspect continued to be maintained thereafter, explaining how Suresh Saleh was allegedly connected to this process. Quote,
"All of this took place under the guidance of the suspect. After this suspect was released on the advice of the Attorney General, he was handed to TID officers, taken to the Galadari Hotel, thanked and told to step away from this work."
End quote. The magistrate then asked why he was thanked. Quote,
"He was assigned to the TID for questioning. An intelligence officer was sent to obtain details from him on how the investigations were being conducted, how CID should proceed, how TID was working, and how foreign arrivals were doing the questioning."
End quote. Meanwhile, the CID also revealed that Saleh had allegedly interfered in the process of confirming the death of Pulastini Rajendran, also known as Sara Jasmine, who was linked to the Easter attacks. Quote,
"Following the 26th April 2019 Saindamarutu explosion, a woman named Sara Jasmine was believed to have died, but her body was never recovered. A DNA report confirming her death was found only on the third attempt. Investigators faced various pressures from the suspect during this third test."
End quote. The CID further told the court that former IGP C.D. Vikramaratna and former CID Director Nishanta Soiza have already provided testimony on these alleged interferences, stating that Saleh repeatedly influenced officials through the National Security Council. The magistrate questioned how an intelligence officer could summon a police chief to the Security Council. CID officers responded that only the president could convene such meetings, with sessions conducted based on presentations made by the Director of State Intelligence. Quote,
Former CID officer Prasad Ranasinghe has stated that after failing to carry out continued instructions under the pressure from Suresh Saleh, he was brought before the National Security Council and pressured through the president. He later suffered a heart attack due to this stress.
End quote. After considering all submissions, the fourth magistrate ordered the case to be recalled on the 25th.
The matters presented in relation to the third suspect point to issues directly connected to the Easter attacks, not residual matters such as dereliction of duty. Therefore, it appears that the earlier order has been carried out to some extent. Whether the evidence is sufficient must be determined based on today's consolidated evidence report and future investigations. The court observes that the order has been implemented. These evidentiary matters will be considered at the appropriate stage. Out of the three matters raised regarding the third suspect, one relates to the Security Council. It must be examined whether such an order, if given by the President, falls within powers constitutionally vested in the President through the Security Council. If it does, it cannot be treated as a criminal act. Criminal liability arises only where there is an intention to obstruct investigations. Merely issuing advice regarding investigative steps does not in itself impose criminal liability. Further inquiry is required. It must be determined whether actions occurring at the Security Council amount to an offence, and if so, who bears responsibility. These findings are to be reported to court. If any application is to be made regarding the third suspect, it must be submitted in writing based on previous appointed orders. These will then be considered. Additionally, when reviewing matters under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, the court will issue necessary orders within constitutional limits. This has been personally reviewed. Should anything further be required, it must be submitted in writing.
Royal College Colombo's annual vehicle parade took to the streets today, continuing tradition ahead of the 147th Battle of the Blues against St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia for the D.S. Senanayake Memorial Shield.
Continuing a long-standing tradition, the annual vehicle parade of Royal College Colombo took to the streets today in the lead-up to the 147th Battle of the Blues between Royal College Colombo and St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia.
The big match season is one of the most exciting and one of the most anticipated times of the year for people all across Sri Lanka. And today I'm here at Royal College Colombo as they take to the streets in their cycle parade in line with their historic annual cricket encounter between St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, the 147th Battle of the Blues happening at the SSC grounds on the 12th, 13th and 14th of March here in Colombo. Now, with all this energy, the big question still remains. Who will be victorious? Will it be St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia or Royal College Colombo? Let's see and find out this weekend starting from tomorrow.
147 වන රාජකීය විද්‍යාලය සහ සෙන්ට් තොමස් විද්‍යාලය අතර වන Battle of the Blues තරගාවලියේ මේ අවස්ථාවේදී සයිකල් පැරඩ් එක තමයි ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ. අපි උණුසුම් තරගයක් සඳහා සියලු දෙනා සූදානමින් ප්‍රගැහිලා ඉන්නවා.
ලෝකයේ තියෙන ක්‍රිකට් තරඟ ගත්තාම මේ තරගය මේ ක්‍රිකට් තරගයක් විතරම නෙවෙයි, කම්පිටිෂන් එකක් විතරක්ම නෙවෙයි. ට්‍රැඩිෂන්ස් ඊළඟ ඩිසිප්ලින් මේ හැම දෙයක්ම එක්ක යන තරගයක් ලෝකයේ තියෙන පැරණිම ක්‍රිකට් තරගයක්.
The Battle of the Blues contested between St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia and Royal College Colombo is recognized as the second largest uninterrupted cricket series in the world. This year, the Royal Thomaian cricket encounter will be played on the 12th, 13th and 14th of March at the SSC grounds in Colombo. The Maharaja Media Network is the official media partner for the three-day tournament.
St. Peter's College Bombalapitiya defeated on the College Colombo in the school's rugby knockouts 2026 match played today.
The school's Rugby Knockouts 2026 tournament kicked off today. In the opening match, St. Peter's College Bombalapitiya faced Ananda College Colombo at the Royal College Sports Complex in Colombo. By the end of the first half, St. Peter's College had taken a commanding lead, scoring 19 points to Ananda's 3. St. Peter's added 26 more points in the second half, while Ananda College failed to score during that period. As a result, St. Peter's College secured a dominant 45-3 victory over Ananda College. St. Peter's College Bombalapitiya accumulated their points through 7 tries and 5 conversions, while Ananda College Colombo managed only a single penalty kick.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Night.